Let's make our first Java program using Eclipse. We'll double-click on Eclipse, and we'll choose a workspace. By default, you'll see it's in the C drive for us. You could also potentially choose a network area if you wanted to, wherever you'd like. Right now, I'll leave it where it is. I could also make this the default location. You might want to do that if you go to the school network. And we'll click Launch. I'll leave it not with the default workspace for now. A welcome window appears with many choices for us. If you want to see this all the time, you can have it show up every time. I don't want it to show up every time. So at the bottom right, I will uncheck Always Show Windows. It's the window at startup, and close the tab. And here we are. This is what we really want to see. This big area in here is where we're going to be writing our code. We're going to start with a new Java project. And we'll give the project a name. It's okay to use spaces in this name. It's our very first program. So I'm going to call it Hello World. And you'll see over on the left in the Package Explorer that Hello World has arrived. We won't create this module info.java. Next, we want to make a new class in this Hello World project. So make sure it's highlighted, and we'll go to New Class. Make sure at the top the source folder is what we really want. It is Hello World. And we'll give our class a name. Java classes start with capital letters. That's good Java technique. And you cannot have any spaces there. We're going to take this free public static void main string args, so we don't have to type it. But you're going to need to know that it's the start for a main method of any Java program. You will be tested on this. You'll have to be able to write that whole thing out in about 9 weeks. And here's the shell of what we're looking for. We'll go to the top and do some documentation. And we could do multi-line documentation in Java with that /*, hit enter, and now we can do multi-line documentation. I'll put my name, today's date, and I'll also put that the name of this class .java, because we are making a .java file. After this, I'm going to use a / and 2 asterisks. You'll see it turns things blue. We'll learn more about the purpose of this much later in the semester with a description of the program. And I'll put my name there as the author. And you'll notice we have a lot of braces here in Java. There's no lines like we saw if you took Visual Basic. There's no end subs or end class. The braces start and end to match up with each other. So I'm going to document the ending braces. The bottom brace ends the class, so I'll type hello there. This other brace I just typed main parentheses because it ends the main method. And there it is, public static void main. That double slash is a single line documentation technique. And what we're going to do is display a message. We'll go System.out.println. And then in parentheses, we'll put a string in quotation marks. Since it's our first program, of course, we'll put Hello World. At the end of this line, we need a semicolon. That's how Java knows it's the end of a line. If we press the green run, it'll ask to save the file. We'll tell it OK. Behind the scenes, it gets compiled. More about that later on. And down at the bottom, you can see Hello World. I'll type another line. You can do the same one I do or make up your own phrase. Remember the semicolon at the end of the line. Again, if I try to run it right away without saving it, I'll be asked to save. And there are 2 lines that I have written. You can write lots of lines this way. Go ahead and pause the video if you'd like to do that. Now let's learn about the difference between print and println. So now we'll use System.out.print, no ln, and we'll see what happens when we just use print. So I'm going to type several lines of code here just using System.out.print. Remember to put a semicolon at the end of each line. Got some string literals and quotation marks. You can type what I am or whatever you would like. I'll go up to File and do Save. That will save what's going on, and then run. And look what happened. All on the same line. That ln sets the next line up to be on a new line. So let's see if this goes on a new line. I'm using println. It didn't go on a new line. That's because that ln puts a new line character at the end of this line, not the start. So it'll be the next line after this that ends up on a new line. I did System.out.println. I could have done System.out.print. It still would have been on a new line because the line above it used ln. If you'd like to pause the video and try some of this yourself, go ahead. If we ever need a blank line, one way to accomplish this is doing System.out.println with nothing inside the parentheses. That will give us a blank line. I'm going to use Control S to save now. And there you go. You see the blank line above. There is a blank line above this. We've also got what's called escape characters. One of them is \n. That's another way to get a new line. So I have System.out.println. That means the next line will go on a new line. But this line will also start on a new line because of the \n before world cities. Now I'll use System.out.print, and I will list some cities, separating the cities with \n. The \n stays inside the quotation marks. You can do this for your own set of cities or whatever topic you like. And we run this, they're all on new lines. Everything after \n is on a new line. Chicago was on a new line because the line above it had println. Let's see what happens if I add Oslo to this list. Oh, it appears right after Jakarta because there's no \n, there's no ln on the prints. So if I want to get a new line, I'll have to put a \n either just after Jakarta, as I did, or just before Oslo. Another escape character we can use is \t for tab. So now I'll add some more cities. Notice I used two \n's. Oslo was on a System.out.print, so there was no new line after that. And now I'll separate some cities using \t to tab them apart. Again, the \t is inside the quotation marks. So when I run this, those cities are separated by tabs. Now, you've seen we're using backslashes, and quotation marks are important for string literals. A single quotation mark can also be important. So what if you actually need to print one of those? So you can print a backslash with \\. Let's check it out. There it is. We can get, if we need a single quotation mark, we can get that with \/ and a single quote. I had a little bit of an adventure trying to do this in Eclipse because it was trying to help me with some autocomplete. And that got us a single quote. If we need a quotation mark, then it's backslash quotation mark. Now you'll see another quotation mark after that because that ends the string literal inside the System.out.println. We've created our first Java program. Of course, hello world.